I dye mine.
Right.
So mine's like vomit green, so you can't ever see the grays. It's for charity though, so I have a good cause.
Yeah, you're doing all right.
All right.
My gray hair is like right on the two tips of my beard, so I have like a supervillain beard. So I'm kind of into
It's pretty rad.
Yeah,
I have one
doing
coming
like a
out the
groom
side.
check.
It kind of looks like drool. It's weird. It's like I got white hair coming out. Like great, I
Fucking
have
hair
drool.
drool, dude.
Yeah, we're all doing a groom check before we go
Probably
live.
We should probably talk about comics and not our facial hair.
Well, I just want to say
know,
though,
right?
let's watch Four Men Age on YouTube.
Can you guys
film
see
at
it right
11.
here or is it
Let's
right
go.
here? Which is better? Like, is it this mic?
No, the one at your hand
Okay.
is better.
All right. Because I totally had a brain fart that StreamYard could have been picked that up. Yeah, we're all just grooming, checking our facial hairs. Let's go. This is the interview of the year. I'm ready. So,
Let's do it.
you guys are good? You groomed up? You looking good? Fresh?
Yeah.
All right,
I
let's
mean,
go.
I put on a clean shirt just for this. It's a Reanimator shirt. It glows in the dark. I think that's legit.
That is
Other than
pretty
that,
legit.
Bullet Bill.
I got
yeah,
a
see,
Game Boy.
yeah, we are keeping it geekly.
Hey.
All right, so
Because
we're going to begin
Stan
in
is
3, 2, 1. Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It is your Capes Crusader, Cody, and we are keeping it geekly with all of my new friends, plus an awesome friend I have not had a chance to talk to face-to-face. We have Drew Edwards, Paulo Hernandez, and Dan Dynamite Price in the chat. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. How are you guys doing? Yeah, welcome, everybody.
Good.
What's going on, man?
Yeah.
Thanks for
I'm
having
doing
us,
all right.
Cody.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
So,
Much obliged.
where do I even begin? I've never taken on this many men at once. This is a brand new experience.
Prepare yourself.
So I guess let's
Watch
start
out,
with
I'm bendy. Let's go.
let's start with introductions. Drew, let's take you first, and then we'll move kind of just down below and to the left. Drew, who are you and where did you begin with your journey within comics?
So my name, well, you already know that. It's Drew Edwards. I am the writer and creator of the long-running underground comic Halloween Man. I am a Ringo nominee for Best Writer. I am a Best of Austin winner and nominee several times over. And I am a member of the PEN America Fellowship of Writers, which makes me sound super hoity-toity, but I assure you I am not. I'm actually quite lowbrow.
I was gonna say, where's the monocle at, bro?
Yeah.
He does an amazing impression of Mr. Peanut. You should check it out. It's
All right,
great.
we got to hear it now.
I put me on the spot now.
Nah, you're great, dude.
Yeah, my I was thinking it was more of an Uncle Moneybags myself.
Nice.
But yeah, my journey with comics actually started when I went right when I graduated out of high school. Pretty much as soon as I understood that comics could be a job, that was what I wanted to do with my life. Initially, when I first moved to Dallas, I fell in with a small comic book company called Maximum Comics and Games. Their primary focus was making role-playing games, like tabletop, old school Dungeons and Dragons style role-playing games. But they also wanted to do comics to tie into the game. It was a superhero game, and because I am a horror fan, I was given the task of creating a character for the supernatural type superheroes, which is how I came up with this character, Halloween Man. About a year into developing it, I'm gonna bum everybody out for a second. I was in a car accident that I'm a twin, and I was in a car accident that unfortunately killed my twin, and the comic took on a much more personal bent at that point. It became how I kind of motivated myself to get out of bed. It's I always said it was my therapy. Like it was what I would funnel my negative feelings into. Like all of a sudden, I really did know what it felt like to be a monster. I had so much survivor's guilt. And so I approached Malcolm Harris, that's the guy that founded Maximum Comics, and I asked him if I could be let go of my contract and take my characters with me, which he thankfully obliged. And I started doing Halloween Man as a webcomic, and here we are 22 years later, believe it or not, and I'm still doing it.
So Halloween Man was like the comic you were working on after that time?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I mean, wow, like how were you able to work through that? Like that had opening those wounds, that had to be pretty heavy. Like, like what was that creative process for you like?
It was very much a sink or swim kind of thing, because I knew that if I didn't do something that I was just gonna shrivel up and die. Like it was very much focus on this one thing and do it as well as I possibly knew how. And believe me, I was doing a lot of learning on the job, or I would have cracked. And to a degree I did crack, but I don't really fully understand how actually I made it through that time period. My 20s were a mess. And yet somehow I endured and stuck with this. And I can safely say, if it wasn't for this comic, I wouldn't have made it. Like, the comic saved my life because it gave me that thing that I could focus and that thing that I could put all my feelings into.
Real quick, we have Ichthus over on YouTube saying, what is up and how is everybody in the panel doing? So how are you all doing tonight?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Doing great.
Hanging out, talking about comics.
One last question for you, Drew, before we move on to our next man of the hour. Would you say like you were like maybe like burying yourself within the work, like just burying yourself within that creative process, taking on as much as you possibly could? That's something I kind of find myself when I'm going through that process as well, just kind of getting lost in the work so you don't like process it,
100%. That is where I was, because when you're dealing with grief that's that overwhelming, there's a certain degree of, and this isn't going to sound healthy, but I assure you it was the right thing to do. There's a certain degree of avoidance. Like, yeah, it's it was easier to deal with a world that I was coming up with and I was creating, and I controlled the outcome of everything, than it was the real world, which is full of random chaos and terrible things that happen every moment of every day. And so I was able to escape into this world that I came up with in my mind, and it was so much easier than just dealing with what I was going through.
No, I got you. I kind of went through the same thing, like with video games, that escapism, and like when you beat a video game, you know the outcome, you know how it's going to play out, and you can control like almost every aspect. Like, yeah, thank you for sharing that. That was some really deep stuff. So I appreciate you giving us a little bit of your history like that. Paulo, my man, what about you? Who are you? Let's break down your introduction to comics.
Sorry. My introduction to comics actually came through anime, because my brother used to show me all sorts of anime, and I always thought it had amazing stories and amazing art. And what got me into comics was that my other brother he was in the Air Force, and he came into town, and he had like this giant bag of like a bunch of comics, and he was trying to sell them, and it was a bunch of 90s comics. So it was like reprints that his other friend in the Air Force was trying to sell off. And so he tried to sell them, but he couldn't sell them because they were all like reprints of 90 comics that everybody has. And so he ended up just leaving them to me, and he's like, do you want them? I was like, sure. And I ended up just reading them, and I was already into anime, and I started reading these comics, and I was like, wow, these comics are like super awesome, and they have just as much, because I always thought comics didn't have the grandoso kind of stories that anime had, but I started reading the comics, and they really do. And that's when I fell in love with comics. And it wasn't until about high school, because that was during middle school, and in high school, that's when I started drawing, because I really I had stories I wanted to tell at that point, and so that got me drawing, and I've been drawing ever since. And I've been doing little things, little comics for indie publishers. I did some for Guano Guy, like maybe like three page comics for him. And I did also some for Halloween Man for Drew. And now I'm getting to do a little bit more for Drew, which is where we get to the point where I'm at right now.
So
that's pretty much it.
man, anime back in then, you were watching the good stuff. Let me guess, Trigun? A little bit of Trigun in there?
Actually, you know what? I as a kid, I was watching Ninja Scroll, Pat Labor, Ghost in the Shell.
Okay.
Like I was watching the OG stuff, like Kira. It was the best for me.
Yeah,
and
that's when it was
It was
good.
only recently. Yeah, recently, like it just hit a boom, and I'm like, man, there's so much anime. I can't watch all of it. I have to pick and choose now. So, but yeah, that really got me into it, and I like the mix of between anime and Western comics, and that's why my favorite artist is Adam Warren, which I love his stuff, and he does a lot of that mixing of the two kind of genres.
Sorry, I'm trying to get used to hitting this mic off and on. This microphone's so much more sensitive compared to the other one. But so, are you working on any other projects outside of this, like any other side projects or any like one shots or anything that you want to give a shout out to?
I am working on something for Bat City Scaregrounds, which is it's a haunted house. Yeah, it's like a haunted house, but it's like 3 haunted houses in one giant like area, and the haunted houses themselves have characters, and I'm building a comic based on those characters.
That is so cool.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
That's what I'm doing that right now for Corey and Corey Trahane. I want to say I'm saying that right. I'm not sure. But yeah, this one I'm working on right now also, and I'm also thinking about starting a comic of my own that actually I co-wrote with Dan a while back. Yeah, but I don't have really too much specifics other than it's going to be like a buddy cop series with aliens and souls.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, speaking of Dan, let's go ahead and start breaking down who you are, Dan, and you're breaking into comics as well.
Well, hey everyone, my name is Dan Price. I am the creator of titles such as Latex Avenger, Masters of the Obvious, Excelsius, The Uphill Adventures of a Boy Named Stanley for the Stan Lee Foundation, and my latest project that I did is I created, co-wrote, and drew the book Bigfoot Knows Karate that was out on Kickstarter last year, and I'm working on chapter 2 of that book right now. But the cool thing is that I'm getting to hang out with these two guys that I've known for the last 10 plus years, Drew and Paulo, getting to work on kind of a dream project, because as much as I love doing Bigfoot Knows Karate, and I do love doing Bigfoot Knows Karate, I get to revisit Latex Avenger, and that was my very first indie comic. Did that in March of 2007. In fact, I moved from Dallas to Austin on March 2nd of 2007. My comics arrived at my apartment on March 1st, 2007. So one day before I moved into my apartment, my first comic book was sitting on the staircase of my apartment, on my porch on my apartment. Somebody could have stolen those. It could have rained, anything like that. My very first convention was the next day on March 3rd. So it was like kind of a real quick thing. But yeah, I did Latex Avenger for several issues. And he has a sidekick named Spermicidal Foam Lad, and together they repel crime 99.9% of the time. I've done a lot of comedy comics, and like I said, I love doing Bigfoot Knows Karate. It's just the dream. That's just a dream project as well. But to get to hang out with these guys and be in the pages of Halloween Man again is incredible. And I'm so excited to get to do this with my pals. Seriously.
That is so awesome. I love it. I love it. So before we kind of start diving into Halloween Man and Latex Avenger, let's break down like how you guys met. Like let's break down the initial friendship. Kind of what got you all making comics together.
Do you want to kick it off, Drew?
Yeah. I think we kind of bumped into each other at conventions and things of that nature, but the thing where we really started like talking to each other more so was a recurring show that used to be put on by a woman named Jennifer Cunningham called Nerd Cave, and it was like a day-long mini convention, but at night they would have nerdcore rap or nerdcore punk, things like that. And it was just like a fun thing to do where it was all indie people. And
did you guys meet in a freestyle battle? Like, tell me that happened.
Oh yeah, no, we rap battle. That's what we do in our spare time. The three of us stand in an alleyway and just rap battle. Yeah. So it's amazing.
We actually write epic rap battles of history. The two guys that are on the channel are just our faces.
Like just their faces.
Yeah. And that I remember the one at Tribe, very well. And the thing that really, particularly with Dan, that I remember about him is that he was giving out Latex Avenger themed condom packages that had like the logo on it. And I remember seeing it and being like, this mofo is so slick that he's got, and he still has some.
That's so awesome. How many of those do you have left?
3. I used to buy them 500 at a time, though. The people who sold the condoms, condomman.com, they one time sent me a letter saying, thank you very much for the repeated business, that I must be a very active individual. And, so anyway. Hey, good things have happened to me with condoms. I won 140 condoms in a raffle one time in college, too.
I was going to say, you probably don't have 3 kids like I do, too.
No, I'm a stepdad. Anyway, sorry, Drew. Didn't mean to cut you off with condom talk.
Well, I was the one that brought it up. So that was really it. I think the thing that really, cemented us like working together is a few years ago, I did a comic called Halloween Man Bat City Special, and it was all Austin creators, like from top to bottom. And both Dan and Paulo did comics in that. Dan did a very like noir Halloween Man story, and then Paulo did like a very groovy space adventure with Halloween Man's girlfriend Lucy, where she's fighting a pinup robot space despot named Robotica, Queen of Metal. And
I love it. I love it.
So that was really the kind of the origin of all of us working together. Like we had such a good time on that book that when you have a good time and you creatively click with people, you want to keep the party going. And I ran into Dan. I don't have a day job anymore finally, but while I wasn't doing comics full time, I worked for Boar's Head, the deli meats company. And I actually ran into Dan while I was doing something at a grocery store. Like I was refilling a deli case, and I kind of grabbed him and was like, we're going to do a crossover between Halloween Man and Latex Avenger. And I don't think he thought that I was that serious about it until I actually started like emailing him script pages.
I didn't think you'd want to go there, honestly. Latex Avenger's a piece of shit. Sorry, pardon my language, but like, he's
you guys are free to cuss. Go ahead.
He's just an asshole of a character, and Drew's got 20 years behind Halloween Man and Dr. Lucy Chaplin, Science Starlet, and look, I love Halloween Man, and so this was awesome, but
real quick, so that was an anthology you did with creators from Austin. So how many creators were on that?
5, I
Let
think.
me see. Let's see. John, Dan, Paulo,
Shane.
Joey, Shane.
Yeah.
Jeremy had some stuff in there. So
Blue Ponds did the cover.
Yeah. So I guess that's 7 sounds right. There was going to be more, but schedules.
No, I got you. I was just kind of curious because to see these two kind of that you clicked with, I was just kind of curious like how many people all together on that. So
well, on that note though, you got to understand like most of everybody in that group are all good friends.
Yeah.
Like Shane is our boy. He moved out of town recently, a couple years ago. Miss him, still talk to him pretty frequently. Jeremy, the artist, JTA, he's our boy as well. We've known each other all for a long time. I mean, I met Paulo at 24-hour comic day. I met him at 24-hour comic day, and that's where I first met him. I bumped into Drew at places like the parlor and I can't even remember the play. Where'd you used to do the punk versus rockabilly shows?
Flamingo Cantina,
Flamingo Cantina,
which is actually finally coming back this
nice.
year.
I will be there.
But yeah, that's the thing about Austin is it's a very big, small town, and like the connective tissue between people is actually pretty strong. And the thing is, it's like I'm working with these two on this project, but I've also continued to work with a lot of these people off and on because that's just the nature of first of all comics, but also the way Austin works creatively is that we're all like there to support each other, and because it is such a small, tight-knit group of people, we can support each other that way.
I mean, we hang out at each other's homes. They come over for barbecue. You know, I mean, like we've been swimming at Drew's house. You know what I mean? Like we do all sorts of, it's just, like I said, it's just not, these are my pals. These are my friends.
Bro time,
so
show
it makes
time, I get it.
Yeah, it makes it even more fun.
Yeah.
So
What he said.
now that we kind of like broke down the initial like friendship and meeting, let's kind of start breaking down each side of things. So Ichthus had a really good question, and I guess this will kind of help break things in. What was the influence of the character design for Halloween Man? So let's start breaking into Halloween Man, and then we'll do Latex Avengers, and then them meeting.
So a lot of people look at Halloween Man and they assume that it's Two-Face. And I want to state because I'm live here and I can say Two-Face didn't really look like the sort of zombified Two-Face that is like the norm now. Like that's not how Two-Face looked when I was a kid. Two-Face had like a weird green or purple, distorted, side of his face. In the skull face Two-Face, I think was largely popularized by the Dark Knight. The stuff that really influenced the look of Halloween Man, for one, there's like the metaphorical side of it. Like I have dissociative identity disorder, which is more commonly known as multiple personality disorder. So the idea that this guy is asymmetrical and split down the side, split right down the center, that's sort of a metaphorical look at my own state of being. But as far as like characters that I was looking at, there was the Terminator from Terminator 2, because there's parts where, towards the end of it where Arnold like has like half of his face kind of blown off. Jonah Hex was another character that, if you're looking at DC characters, that was very influential. The big one, of course, I'm a classic monster guy, so one of the big ones was the Phantom of the Opera, particularly the Andrew Lloyd Webber version. And then I threw that in with more pop cultural characters like there's the Ramones, because I'm an old punk rocker at this point, so. The Ramones was a bit. That's why he has like a leather jacket. Isn't it weird to say it's old? Like, isn't it weird? Yeah, I know. I die a little bit inside.
Yeah, dude, it's like classic rock. Now it's like, stop that.
Yeah, all that classic rock is punk. Damn it.
Yeah. But also, rockabilly culture, things like that. There's a little bit of Shaggy even thrown in there. A little bit of Kurt Russell from. A lot of Kurt Russell from Big Trouble in Little China. It's just like all these things, like the exact same way the rest of the comic is. I like took all these things, I threw it in a blender, and this is what came out.
So how many issues do you have so far? You've been doing this for, you said, roughly about 20 years, right?
Yeah, the hard part about that is because it started out as a webcomic, you didn't really have like issues the way we think of it. I've probably done close to 100 or so stories, give or take. The current series on Comixology is up to 28 issues.
That's a lot still, though. Holy crap.
Yeah,
Holy crap.
I'm constantly working with people, and I'm constantly pumping out comics because it's what I love to do.
So how do you keep that creative flow going, the creative juices? I mean, doing it for so long and coming out with so many stories. I mean, do you ever find yourself hitting any roadblocks?
Well, of course. I mean, who doesn't? And I honestly I wish that I was a total package like Dan, where I could write, draw, do the whole
he has a
show
nice beard
myself.
Too,
yeah, he truly does. But I don't really get tired of the characters. If I get bored of one characters, I now have such an extensive universe that I can just focus on a different character for a few issues, and that way they're all being fleshed out more. But I can literally do whatever I want. I can do comedy, I can do horror, I can do sci-fi, I can do fantasy. It's whatever I want whenever I want. So I don't feel creatively stifled at all. That's probably why I haven't actually branched out until relatively recently into working with other characters, because I just feel this sense of satisfaction in crafting my own universe.
No, it sounds like such an expansive universe. Paulo, were you a big chunk of that, the artist for that?
Well, no, I just did a few. I think I did a 3-pager and a 4-pager for him for different things for the 20th anniversary and also for the Bat City special. And so this is going to be the 3rd time that I work with Drew on the Halloween Man.
So how is he as a boss?
Oh, he's always on my butt. He's always on my ass. He's shooting fire arrows at me, and no.
Well, if you drew faster, he wouldn't have to do that shit. Damn it!
Well, yeah, that's true.
So, Dan, start breaking down
chopstick.
Latex Avenger for us. Your character design for him, your influences for him.
Hold on. I got visual aids tonight.
You're so much smarter than the rest of us. I should have brought visual
Well,
aids.
usually on the side of us, I have the cover images on an image slideshow, but there's so many of us that we had to sacrifice.
No worries. Yeah, no, he's Latex Avenger. I mean, he's got his reservoir tip of freedom right there, and he's the ribbed warrior of justice, and he, I wanted the worst superhero possible. Okay, I do mean that, from the beginning. Worst color combinations, the complementary colors, yes, but yellow and purple are not the tough, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have that, the Dark Knight Returns feeling to it at all, and that was kind of the point. The character was a byproduct. I worked for all right, let me stop. I had a humorous Jewish greeting card company when I was in my younger years. Okay, you could not find a funny Jewish greeting card to save your life, and I just
he had the niche.
Yeah, so I didn't want to just keep sending the 3 bar mitzvah cards that they had available next to the slew of Christmas cards. So took the bull by the horns, did a greeting card company, went to shows out and all over the place, New York, whatever, Javits Center, that type of thing. It was great, but it did not pan out, and that's okay, because what I did get out of it was some really amazing characters based off my grandparents. Okay, and they came out of the card line. Well, wasn't doing the card line anymore. I had these amazing characters, Saul and Myra Glickman, and I'm going to use them in something, but I want to do something very different with that. And I'm always into very different. Every time I do something, I want it to be very different from the last thing. So what's the strangest thing I could possibly come up with after doing this very sweet, but, kind of sardonic card line? How about a dude wearing a rubber on his head, and he's going to go fight crime, and he's got a sidekick named Spermicidal Foam, allowed to shoot spermicidal foam out of guns, and it's just ridiculous. So, he's like Sam Malone from Cheers meets the Tick meets your lazy foul-mouthed uncle. That's just the best way I can describe the character. And, and the sidekick's kind of the I put it like this. People have asked me a lot, tell me, how do you identify with Bigfoot Knows Karate? I don't. Okay, I don't identify with the character at all. We're very different people. But Spermicidal Foam Lad, he's me. Okay, like that's the me character. Out of all the characters had, it's so he's the protector of the town of Gedontopolis, and he fights characters like, here you got Manibus. There's Manibus, the kaiju pop monster, and his buddy, the Two Puff Marshmallow Man. That's Bicurio over there. That's Sexy Nurse America over there. That's Virgil from the WWF. And this book particularly was based on real things that happened to me at comic conventions. It was called The Wrath of Khan. And so I didn't, it's kind of like Family Guy on steroids turned up to 11, is always kind of how I explain Latex Avenger. And so all the things that happened here were kind of based on things that happened with just the volume turned up real high. And there's some issue. I did a lot of issues of it. There's some that'll never see print ever again. They're just terrible. And then there's a couple of them that I still have floating around. And Drew, we came up with this idea for this crossover a lot of years ago.
But before the pandemic and everything.
Yeah, pre-pandemic. This is like 2018, 2019, I think we were talking about it. And there's actually some pages that I drew of this crossover that we didn't use. And so we're going to use those in the back of a deluxe edition for this one. So, but Paulo's work, chef's kiss, man.
I know,
seriously.
dude. It was so funny. I made that YouTube thumbnail this morning, and then like an hour later, you guys shared the cover. I was like, God damn, that cover looks so good. I gotta fix it now. I gotta change it.
Yeah. No. So what you showed was the B cover, which is the variant. The variant cover, which is going to have, which is based on the Neil Adams cover of Green Arrow, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, where Speedy's shooting up heroin. That's what my variant covers.
Very pleasant.
Yeah. Hey, classic Speedy, baby. So anyway, so that's what you showed in the thumbnail. But Paulo's cover is just gorgeous.
No, awesome. I love it. I love it. This is so awesome. So how do we see these two meet? They've met before, correct?
No, it was the first time.
Nope.
Okay,
nope.
So
you never forget your first meeting of the Latex Avenger.
You never forget your first time.
I guess without spoiling stuff, what can we expect? What type of atmosphere, what type of tone, villains, if you can maybe describe some villains, give us the juice, give us the deets.
So literally, the last time I did a big crossover, which was over 10 years ago now, I did a crossover with Tim Seeley's Hack Slash. And that was very much a modern crossover where you had Cassie Hack and Vlad leave their home dimension and enter the dimension of Halloween Man. And, very Crisis on Infinite Earths, that whole deal. This is almost a throwback. It's just like the Spider-Man versus Superman issue that DC and Marvel did back in the 70s. It's literally the Latex Avenger characters just walk into an issue of Halloween Man. It's pouring down rain. Latex Avenger is gone to Halloween Man's home of Solar City because he wants the pose on the gargoyles and practice his superhero posings for his Instagram account. And it starts pouring down rain, and they walk into a coffee house, and Halloween Man and Lucy are in there investigating because the story is actually called Coffee House on Haunted Hill, and it's a haunted coffee house, and wackiness ensues because as far as the tone goes, I was saying this before we started recording, like there's a lot of humor in Halloween Man, but it's not to the level of Latex Avenger. Mm-hmm. And so there's this sort of oil and water thing going on because the latex characters are the way the latex characters are. And in particular, Latex Avenger sees Lucy Chaplin, and he tries to put the moves on her, and she keeps judo throwing him around and things like that. And she
knows how to handle toxic masculinity is what she does.
Yes. Alpha female that she is. And it's it's a bunch of silly stuff. It's very funny. It's not, it's not one of my more heavier stories, and that's okay. This is something that people can read, they can laugh, they can have fun, they can roll their eyes at the Latex Avenger
awesome.
or not. But it's just goofy.
So real quick, we have and sorry for the pronunciation. We have Way Mannequin saying howdy y'all, and then N Queen saying the cover looks great. Yeah, I think the cover looks gorgeous as well. So
hey,
Dan, are you doing
amazing.
are you doing art as well in this, or is it all Paulo?
Okay, so the interiors are all Paulo. So he did an amazing job. In April Guadiana, how do I pronounce that? Guadiana.
Right.
It's wonderful colorist. She's doing the colors on the interiors. I did the B cover, the one I was just mentioning, Classic Speedy there, and I colored Paulo's A cover, which was a lot of fun to do. He did an amazing job with that.
So, Paulo, how was it like drawing the Latex Avenger? So like a character that was Dan's, original property, like taking that by the helm. Was that like some big shoes to fill? How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, it actually was some big shoes to fill because it was actually before, after Dan was drawing it and before I drew it. Dan had a friend named Bon. Adami.
Yeah.
Can never say it right, but we all knew him, and he was the artist on Latex Avenger before me, and he unfortunately passed away, and I know that affected Dan a lot, and so taking up the reins of drawing Latex Avenger again, it like you said, I had some big shoes to fill, so. So sort of to pay tribute on the first panel where Latex and Spermicidal Foam Lad come out, I actually have Bon in the background, and he's looking at them like at a side glance. So I thought
looking annoyed at him as Bon would have looked at anybody who had walked near him. Bon was a wonderful guy and amazing artist. He was like a little brother to me, and he put up with no one, and he was wonderful at it. It was a superpower of his, and he was intimidating as hell if you didn't know him really well. If you knew him really well, he was just a big old cuddly bear. But he was just he was it was a piece of work, that's for sure. I miss Bon every day.
What is that? It seems like there's been so much trial and tribulation, like just getting this off the ground, like having the pandemic and then having that happen. Like, it's awesome to see you guys are able to overcome it and work together to bring this to light. Like, I'm really excited for it.
Yeah. Oh, this is all Drew's fault. I mean, you have to understand that. Okay, where my
throw me under the bus.
Yeah, right. Okay, look, straight up. This is Drew's fault that I'm actually making comics today. Okay, like I was out. It was like Godfather 3. Every time I get out, they pull me back in. I mean, this is all Drew because he brought up the crossover actually was before we even did Bat City Special. Now, because we didn't do this crossover, it spurred into Bat City Special. And then, and there I did like a cover for Drew at 1.2. And
you did the Halloween Man versus the Loch Ness Monster cover.
Right. I did that cover for you. And then we did the Bat City Special. And then, so, I mean, this is a lot of years coming together to make this book actually happen.
I was persistent. I basically nagged Dan until, because I loved the script. Like the script just makes me laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh because first of all, Latex Avenger, I don't think Dan will mind me saying this. He is the epitome of toxic masculinity, and it's just funny seeing him get his comeuppance.
Oh yeah. You got to understand there's a theme to this because like there's a character in my book, Sexy Nurse America, who just doesn't put up with his shit. Nobody puts up with his shit, and he rarely wins a fight, and then he does have the moral, the big moral at the end where he gives you hey kids, he always gets it wrong. I mean, he's the worst.
Make a Dan sweat with that comment, Drew. Come on.
Yeah, no, he's great. Drew nailed it. He's doing great.
I think the way you described him a few days ago was also really great. Is he'd be the guy that you invited out thinking that it was going to be a fun, wild time, and then an hour into it, you'd be like, "Why did we invite this guy out?
This is a horrible time."
He's really embarrassing the shit out of me right now. Yeah. Yeah, just the worst.
And I think everybody has had a friend like that at some point in their life.
Yeah.
And so it's just funny, and like so much of comics these days is very bogged down and trying to be serious. This is something that you can read, and for a few moments you can be taken out of how terrible everything has been over the last few years.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, I had fun. I had fun drawing Latex Avenger. Like he's hilarious to draw with all his facial expressions and stuff, and so I really had fun drawing him.
Yeah, but the thing about Latex Avenger is he's never going to be as cool as Halloween Man, because Halloween Man's like totally punk rock, dude. I mean, he's got the when the haircut changed recently, he used to have Johnny Ramone hair, and now he's got the like the rockabilly pompadour thing more happening.
What was the change up for?
I just had been doing it for 20 years. I wanted to give him a slightly different look. When I first came up with the character, like the long hair thing, like that was something I thought was really cool. And when you get older, what you think looks good changes. Like it's just good to change things up. Like I didn't want to change the look up too much because I think he's got a really great overall look. The hair is just like it's a small thing, and maybe he finally just discovered what a brush was. Like it's just that's really it. I wish I could say there was like some sort of deep, we keep hitting on how there's these like deeper things for these seemingly arbitrary decisions that we make, but with the hair there's really not that.
I was gonna say, my son almost interrupted just a few moments ago, and I almost had to show you his rat tail. He has a little haircut like that too.
Punk rock. Halloween Man is he's a fun character. He eats his bad guys. So there's that.
Them?
He eats
them. That's what I liked about the differences between Latex Avenger and Halloween Man, is that Latex Avenger looks like the superhero, but Halloween Man is the actual person that actually acts like a superhero. So
he gets
was really
shit
awesome.
done.
Gosh.
He's got a rep to protect. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Halloween Man is very much. He owes a lot to Ben Grimm and Cliff Steele. Like he's a very put upon kind of cranky guy, but he's got a good heart underneath it all. He just looks really scary, and he occasionally does really scary things. But deep down, he's a sweetheart. He just loves his girlfriend, and he wants to keep everybody safe. But he's 100% also a undead carnivorous scary thing too. So juxtaposition is nice, right?
Yeah. Because he's hanging out with like the superhero sex god and America's Top Model runner up, and your man Latex there. I mean, it's it's just such a raw, like a great mashup of characters that have no business being together. And you can see the frustration on the faces of Lucy and Solomon, Halloween Man. You can see the frustration on their faces through pretty much the entire thing. It's like if
Paulo really, I think, channeled a lot of Kevin Maguire in this. Like,
with the facial expressions. Yeah. I mean, you really did. You did the comedy justice by the expressions and it's the best thing you've ever drawn, dude. I mean, it really is.
Good. No, I agree. I agree. I'm going further than I have been before, and I don't see myself stopping. So I'm just gonna keep going.
When are you guys planning on going live with this? We have and for anyone that's interested, right here is the pre-launch. I'm putting this in the comments. Be sure to check this out while we're talking about it. But what are your guys' plans on going live? Where are you going live? And then what are some of the tiers? I mean, if you have any tiers planned that you can talk about.
So it goes live on July 6th on Indiegogo. I have not dipped my feet into the Kickstarter yet, like Dan has. I need to finally give that a shot, but I'm comfortable with Indiegogo, so we're gonna do that at least one more time. And as far as the tiers go, like one of the ones that I think is the most fun, and we actually have an example of it in this issue, is as with all of my like crowdfunds that I've done, there is a tier that you can buy where you get a cameo in a comic. And actually, I did another comic that I crowdfunded last year, and 2 people backed for that, and their cameos are in this comic.
That's so awesome.
You know, we do, you know, we come good on that. You know, another nice thing about me having such an extensive catalog is I'm going to offer up a lot of the old Halloween Man books as stuff that you can buy as add-ons. Like you can order the new comic and then go, okay, I want to order this Halloween Man book or this Halloween Man book, and we're going to have some of the latex books up there, probably as, you know, PDFs or something, but we're gonna have them up there. And you know, of course, there's going to be more tiers than that, but those are the ones that I think are the sexy ones that people will definitely go for.
Any chances the condoms are going to make a comeback?
I don't know, Dan. That's a Dan question.
Oh my God, we could totally do that, but I mean, I need to go contact my I got a condom guy. I got to contact my condom guy, and you know, I got to find, you know,
I got a man.
Made.
I got a man on the inside.
Yeah, I got a guy for everything. I got the guy who gets me on my guys. You know what I mean?
I got a guy.
Yeah,
I got a guy.
Yeah.
He's gonna meet Dan down by the docks, and he's gonna have, hey, Mr. Rice, I got
exactly
500 ribs with
what
your
are you buying?
Yeah. Nice.
If you're talking, you are muted. You are muted.
Oh,
that time. Am I back? Am I
Yeah,
back?
you're back. You're back.
you're back.
Okay. I said this time around, if you wanted, we could put some jack-o'-lanterns on some of the condoms.
Oh, that would be awesome. Let's go.
If you're team Halloween Man or team Latex Avenger, depending on who
I
you're.
like
We're
it.
gonna foster that
Twilight.
Twilight.
Like
Hey, you can see which one wins. Did we come up with something? I think we did.
Yeah.
If we do stretch goals, we haven't really talked about stretch goals stuff yet, but if we do, maybe Drew will let me do a digital, like do Bigfoot Knows Karate as a digital giveaway or something like that for a stretch goal or something like that. I don't know if maybe he'll let me do that. So
I'll let you do that.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
I also might allow people to join a cult or something.
Mhm.
Like,
Sure.
maybe
I'm
we'll
about
start
that.
a cult.
You
Yeah,
got
like,
good Kool-Aid. We need some good one.
Well, I mean, we all have beards. I hear that those go over well in cults.
I don't want to join a cult.
You know, wait, I
I like you,
Come
but
on.
I don't. You know, I mean, come on.
There's a girl I want to meet there. No, I'm just kidding.
I am your messiah.
I had my-
Oh my God,
I actually
this
got
is
my hands on
devolved
a
fast.
switchblade comb, but I don't know where I got it. It's you know, have you seen those like the old school ones? You pop them out. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've owned a few of those. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm kind of sad. Like the only time I've ever wanted it's gone. Of course. So, what are you guys looking at doing anything else in the future? You know, after this, you know, let's say this, you know, successfully funds. You know, what's next for you guys? Like together, or is this kind of where it's at right now?
Well, I'm always working on the next thing. I have some stuff going on with Halloween Man that I unfortunately cannot talk about yet because it's not set in stone. But in the near future, I have Halloween Man, you know, the second part of our Mr. Hyde story arc, because one of my goals with Halloween Man is to do all the great monsters if I can. So I finally got around to doing a Mr. Hyde story this year. Some because of all the issues with Comixology, I wasn't able to put out the second part, but you know, now we're closing in on having that finished and we're gonna have that up. But I'm always working on the next thing. Like there's something, and I will definitely work with these two miscreants again in the future because I love them.
Awesome.
What about you two though? Go ahead. You know, what are
Um,
you guys looking at doing in the future?
Oh, not me. Like I said, I'm working on that comic for Bat City Scaregrounds,
Mm-hmm.
and possibly making some T-shirts for the Immortals which is a band that the Bat City Scaregrounds Corey, he's a part of. Yeah, so probably some stuff like that, and also trying to make that comic that I told you about with that was written by me and Dan. That'd be pretty awesome to do. Oh, and Dan, I heard you had a little comic called Bigfoot Knows Karate.
Yeah, I'm doing this right now. So I've got chapter 2 of Bigfoot Knows Karate. That's coming out in October. Chapter 2, Bigfoot Knows Karate. Chapter 2, Born Under a Bad Sign. October on Kickstarter. If Drew wanted to do something again, I will definitely do that. I'm always up for working on something for Halloween, man.
Me too.
And if I do another Bigfoot Knows Karate comic, I definitely will be asking Paulo to do that. I got a gentleman who recently reached out to me about doing a Bigfoot Knows Karate crossover that he'd want to draw, but not Bigfoot Knows Karate. I'm sorry, Latex Avenger. What the hell am I talking about?
Latex gets around.
He's a whore. Somebody reached out to me about that. I don't know. This was supposed to be the end of it. You know what I mean? This was supposed to be the end of it. We'll see how this goes. If this goes well, look at Drew is smiling right now, so big.
I'm trying to think of so many condom jokes right now, but I can't.
Oh yeah, there's tons. But I have several big. Several Latex Avenger scripts that are just sitting around. Some of them are just, there's no way in God's green earth I would be lit on fire from both sides. So
you can always do rewrites, Dan.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
Rewrite.
Now I do have a script called it's called Latex Avenger, Masters of the Obvious, Roasted and Fried All-Star Special. That is a crossover between those two properties that I have. And,
I love that.
Yeah, and so it's like a 37-page opus of, there's an intergalactic cougar. It's a long story. But anyway, so the masters need to get latex. It's a long story. Anyway, so if I think that'll be the one that I polish, dust off first. And if I can figure out a way to fund it properly, I'll get Paulo in the mix on this one.
Latex Avenger reboot.
Oh,
the return of the Latex Avenger.
Let's go.
I think
because Drew demands it.
Because Drew demands it.
We have
Excuse
me. We have N Queen over on YouTube saying "Woo, a Hyde story." It looks like you got some excitement for that Hyde story as well.
There you go.
I by the way, hi Noodles. That's a good friend of mine right there. Thanks for
awesome.
Tuning into the interview. The Hyde story is gonna be dope. I'm pretty proud of it.
That's awesome. So what were you saying, Dan? Before I rudely interrupted, I'm sorry about that. He was on the hype, and I was like, boom.
Yeah,
he said because Drew demands
my
it.
Shit, Anyway,
Drew demands the more Latex Avenger.
Dude, no. But look, Latex Avenger's fun. It was written.
Do you have any Plan B? I gotta know. Do you have anything Plan B related with this?
Oh no. There's been so I'm really big into I like the Latex Avenger character and the Spermacetophone character, but there's a lot of the other characters don't have the sexual contraceptive innuendo. There was Kosher the pig. There was like I said, there's Manibus and Chauvinistro, and there was just a lot of crazy characters. Venus Flytramp. There's just tons of crazy characters. Buster Bronsky, the serial adventurer from yesteryear. I don't know. So it was always kind of strange. It was always a strange concept. But Masters of the Obvious was also strange too. It was on a more PG-13 version of Latex Avenger. But you had characters like Dr. Biclops. He has two eyes, and the Visible Woman. You can't miss her. LeBron the snapping turtle, don't make him snap, you wouldn't like him when he snaps. And they flew around in a battle toaster called the USS Screensaver, and they had pop culture adventures throughout the galaxy. I like weird shit. That's why you got a Bigfoot doing karate. It's just I like weird
I don't
stuff.
find anything unusual about Bigfoot knowing karate. I think that's the most normal thing I've heard all day.
It's probably the most normal thing I've ever created, honestly.
I would say everything we talked about, that has to be right there. That's the most normal.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway.
That's so awesome. So
but
guys,
I digress.
real quick though,
So.
before we start wrapping things up, I know we are still on the pre-launch, but once this campaign goes live, there's still opportunity for people to watch this. For anyone that's watching, and in the future, let's say they have the opportunity to back the campaign, but they're on the fence. What would you guys like to say to them directly to kind of like get them to back this campaign to push them over that barrier?
Well, here's the thing. Every con I go to, I run into one guy who, he's not the same person, but he has the same story to tell me about how he used to love comic books, but Marvel and DC don't publish anything they're interested in anymore. And to my response to that is always the same. It was, you get tired of what mainstream comics are doing, go out and support small press, because small press has always done things differently. It was diverse long before diversity became a buzzword in corporate America. And we need fans more. We need your support more. As far as like why you should support this comic, do you like laughing? Do you like offbeat comics? This is going to be your jam. I promise you. And if you don't back it, I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry myself to sleep tonight. Like, I will know. I know you're like, how will he know that I didn't back it? I know. And I will cry.
Don't make Drew cry. Don't make Drew cry.
Yeah. So at first I thought he was going to say, I was going to crush you.
I thought he was going to say kill you.
I'm crushing your head. I'm crushing your head. I mean, I could go the other route. I'm a former butcher from Texas, and I know where you live.
That's right. You're chilly now, son. Anyway.
So, Dan, Paulo, what about your thoughts?
Yeah, if you like laughing, it's hilarious. It's just like something that Dan had put on the ticket there to promote it is. It's the crossover no one saw coming. Because it was just they're two totally different characters in the same universe, and just the way they interact is hilarious. I mean, the way Dan writes Latex across from the way Drew writes Halloween Man, it is just hilarious to see just the clashing of these two characters. It's hilarious. And I'm hoping for another crossover, really.
Dude, let's go.
If you tell somebody what they need to do, look, it's like this. If you're one of those people who just likes to pick things apart so they can scream about it on Twitter, Danomite139. You can send your shitburger comments to me, okay? For real. Everything's in good fun. We're having a good time. I think it shows in the comments.
And we want you to have a good time.
Yeah, we want you to have a good time. Like, I love that Drew said, do you like laughter? Yeah, because do you want to be miserable in a pit? No, you want to have a good time. Of course you want to have a good time. And that's what we offer you here in this comic book. Yeah. That's what we offer you here is this comic. It's and if you've never read Halloween Man, this is a good way to kick that off, because it's a great story with a lot of history. And I think that I'm a big fan of the book, and you need to check it out. So you'll get a little taste of Latex Avenger, you'll get a taste of Halloween Man, and you'll be Come on, guys. Come on. Just pick up the
If I would punctuate this with one final thing. If you love indie comics, but you hate Starbucks, this is the comic for you.
Dang.
Shots fired.
If
anyway.
you love baby seals. You don't want us to go club baby seals.
Right.
So yeah,
I mean, you might, but
look, this is
against the law, I think.
This is three friends having a damn good time. Just mean, Halloween Man's done 20 years of comics, you know. I mean, Latex Avenger's been around for 14, 15 years now, you know. So it's like this was the fun inevitable thing that should have happened a while back that we're finally getting to now, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks for to anybody who's going to back it, thank you for backing it in advance because we really appreciate it.
Dude,
and
every fan counts.
Yeah,
you know?
no, you guys
like,
are great.
No, that's no joke. Like every fan counts.
We're gonna go ahead.
I was gonna say no, you first.
No, I think we're gonna do a live launch too on Instagram, right, guys? Yeah. So we'll do a live launch, you know, on Instagram, similar to what I did for Big.
Is that gonna be your channel?
Yeah, we'll do it.
So his Instagram is in the comments description below if you're on Facebook or YouTube. If not, though, for our Twitter and Twitch viewers, if you want to go ahead and give your Instagram a shout out.
Sure. Danomite139. That's DANOMYTE 139.
No, absolutely. So before we wrap up completely, I always love asking creators one question in particular, because as much as this is like an interview to kind of promote what you're doing, it's also like a good learning tool for anyone that's watching as well. So I think it'd be interesting to kind of get your guys' 3 perspectives on this, you know, just, you know, in order, however we want to do this. But so for anyone out there that's kind of struggling to get their own kind of creation started, to get their own story just like written, or maybe just to get started with art, or just to get going, what type of advice would you like give that person that's just kind of struggling?
You know what? I will kind of I can talk.
I rubbed up on him. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, what I always tell people who are young and trying to break into comics is that you need to strap in for the long haul and get used to frustration, because comics are a tough business. It's something you need to do because you feel like it's your calling, not because initially you think you're going to get rich or whatever off of it. And that's really it. It's you know, my longevity has been my strength. I didn't really start to see any real success at this until around 2018. So I really had to batten down the hatches, and you know, some days that's hard. Like, you have to be your own biggest fan, you have to be your own cheerleader. But my flip side of that, the best thing you also can do is surround yourself with good people, so you can cheerlead for each other. And I think that is really important. Comics are a community, and I love uplifting other creators when I am able to, because it makes me legitimately happy. You know, I'm not one of those people. You run into a lot of people that they try to close the door behind them when they start to get successful. I'm not one of those people. Like, I will always try to help out, you know, other creators when I am capable of doing it.
Yeah, definitely. That Drew hit on a lot of points. I was gonna say is that you have to know that you love doing it, and as an artist, you have to keep drawing, even when you don't feel like it, even if it's hard. Keep drawing and keep meeting and surrounding yourself with the right people. And a lot of what I've learned as an artist came not from what I see on YouTube, not what I, on my own research, but a lot of it is getting to know my artist community and getting help from them and getting advice from them. And like, there's something about that one-on-one with other artists out there. Like, you go to drink and draws, or you go to just get-togethers with other artists. They'll be there to help you with everything that you need. I mean, I've had a bunch of artists like help me how to color, help me how to do my line work better, and help me how to do my detailing a lot better, and it helps immensely. So yeah, surround yourself with people that you admire, and they'll build you up.
Awesome. That was awesome too. Thank you. Dan, what about you? Last but not least, you're muted.
You're muted.
No, what I would say, shut up, Paulo.
It was too powerful. Too powerful. You're muted.
Yeah, no, what I would say is like, as an artist and a writer both, read a lot, draw a lot, study the great writers, whether they be comic writers or, novelists or whatever, but, people who can tell story. Watch movies. Watch a lot of movies. Watch different movies. Watch, look at camera angles. Look at action scenes. Look at how they pose people in a heavy dialogue situation. Just be a student of the game. If you have questions, find people to talk to. Reach out to people. Hell, DM me. I'll read your script. I'll look at your page. I don't give a damn. Because here's the thing. We've all been doing this for a minute. When I first got started doing this, before I knew these guys, there was nobody there to help me. It was literally, I knew what I knew, and figured out the rest of it along the way. My brother did the colors for me on the first 2 Latex Avenger books. Eventually met Bon, and he took over pencils on the book and things like that. And and you surround yourself with great people, like Drew said. I'm a lucky guy. I've got Casey Allen, who co-writes Bigfoot Knows Karate with me, Adam Caswell, and all those cats on the Bigfoot team. Over here, it's Drew, it's Paulo, and all the Austin guys who have just been so amazing. So I've been really lucky and blessed with awesome people on Instagram who've been amazing to me. So we're here to help you guys out too, and help. Drew has mentored people and stuff like that. I've done stuff like that too, and happy to do that. And Paulo's mentoring me, and it's cool.
No, that is awesome. We have once again, I'm sorry about the pronunciation of this one mannequin. I hope I'm getting that somewhat close.
That dude's all the way from Australia.
Well, he's saying glad you kept at it, Drew. Love your work. We also have Russell Taylor in the YouTube chat, throwing some pumpkins in the chat as well.
Nice.
Wow, thank you guys for such an awesome time. I loved every bit of this from the start, especially the middle. Oh my God, dude, this was such a great time. And then the end, you guys finished so strong. I loved each of your guys' perspective because you each had a little bit.
I do try to finish strong.
Yeah. Hey,
when we have to deal with a foursome like this, we
sometimes you got to take the latex off.
Okay, I'm not gonna stoop to y'all's level with your weird sexual innuendo jokes. I'm bigger than this, so screw y'all. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Screw you guys.
Anyway.
No, this was such an awesome time. I appreciate you guys giving me, an hour of your time to break this down. I can't wait for this to launch. Once again, let's get a release date out here. I'm going to be putting on the pre-launch. Guys, be sure to go here and sign up. But for anyone that missed it, you guys are launching when again?
July 6th.
So July 6th, be sure to sign up. And July 6th is going to be the date. What were you going to say again, Drew? Sorry.
Oh.
He's getting ready to
Indiegogo. July 6th on Indiegogo. That's when
July 6th on Indiegogo.
Yeah.
That was it. Yes.
All right. So you guys know what to do. Sign up. Be sure to hit notify so you guys can be alerted when it launches. Drew, Dan, and Paulo, thank you so much for coming on, hanging out with me. This is such an awesome time, guys. I hope you all have an awesome Monday night. But most importantly, keep it geekly.